Well, thank you so much for that beautiful, amazing, heartfelt share about the journey and the way mind shows up to mess with us, right? And it is within that context, right, that we're going to have another conversation, which I call hacking the fear of public speaking. So it's second grade, Mrs. Fox, Pinewood Acres Elementary School, show and tell. And I bring my stuffed animal seal named Sammy the seal, which was gray. My parents had bought it at the San Diego Zoo. And the teacher says, does anyone have anything to share? And I raise my hand and I run up to the front of the class and I'm holding on to the seal. And I say, this is my pet seal. It swims in water. It's a mammal. It loves to eat fish and it's eaten by sharks. And then I was like, scene. And then I was like, done, ready to walk off. And I realized there's something else that I want to share. So I went back up and I looked at the class and then I said, and I named him after someone in this class. Ba-da-da-da! I mean, this is second grade, right? So all of a sudden everybody became very interested in that. They weren't interested in the seal part, but they were interested in the fact that I'd named the seal after somebody in the class. Now, there was no one in my class named Sammy. So I looked around and I said, I named him after Brett MacGyver. Now, Brett MacGyver was the blonde, popular boy in the class, and I just verbalized in second grade that I had a crush on him. So the moment I said that, like every head turned, it's like the mic dropped. It was like, you know, like the screech, you know, and it became really awkward and it was very quiet. And then I took my seal and I went back to my seat. And what I got in that moment in second grade was it was not safe for me to speak my truth in front of people. I could not be authentic. I could not be real. And what came out of my mouth had consequences. And whatever those consequences were, it was not safe. So I shut down. So I hated the sound of my voice. Hated it. So people would call the house and I would answer the phone and people thought that I was a girl. Now, this is tinged, right, in homophobia, internalized homophobia, misogyny, sexism, because there's nothing more offensive, right, than a feminized male, right, in our culture, especially Cuban culture. So what I was constantly trying to do was edit that, deepen the voice, shift it. When my voice finally changed in sixth grade, I swallowed my voice and I became very quiet and I would speak from a place that was here and very serious and I would wait. You know, but nothing true and authentic about it. And it wasn't until I came out at 18 and I started exploring with what my full self-expression looked like that I really started getting my voice and my power. And I trained as an actor, and you know, I hated drawing attention to myself. So of course that's what I did. I became an actor. You know, standing, so look at me, look at me, look at me, don't look at me, don't look at me, don't look at me. And it was in my training that I realized where that was locked and the opportunity to unleash it. So the conversation today is about hacking the fear of public speaking. So I'm curious, like something has drawn you to this conversation. So what brings you here today?
Okay, let's start with, because we're an intimate group, so let me introduce myself.
Yeah.
My name is Notando Mohadime. I'm from Johannesburg, South Africa.
Awesome.
And what drew me here is like you kind of, I work in the communications field, and you would think that I should have hacked this a long time ago. But I tend to kind of sometimes draw back. And I need to stop doing that.
Yeah.
I need to stop doing that. I find myself always in kind of positions where I end up have to be the one to do the presentations or doing this, and it's kind of like now I just get to a point where I can do it freely and not end up having to be the one doing it because you should be doing it. Why is anybody else doing it? You know. So I'm trying to finally hack it through and get that jump that door or that hurdle that's kind of like got me almost there.
Awesome. And I love that you're wearing a Fearless bracelet.
Yes.
Hello, hashtag no big deal. Yes, we got it.
Yeah.
How about you, Laura? What brought you here?
So I'm publishing a book, which is my life story, and it's on forgiveness.
Mm.
And I want to go out and teach forgiveness, and I want to be an international speaker.
Mm.
And I can get up and talk, like if we were having lunch and someone said, Laura, why don't you get up and talk about forgiveness? I have no problem.
I'm going to stop you, Laura. Do you realize what you said before you went, when you described yourself as a speaker? What did you say?
I want to be an international.
I want.
Right.
Okay?
I am.
I am an international speaker. Do you see the difference?
Yes.
Or I'm creating myself.
Yes.
I'm creating now. I'm an international speaker.
And I have actually one of my affirmations in the mornings is I am
Great.
motivational international speaker.
Awesome.
But now that reality is starting to kick in, I start having all this fear. And I wake up. I heard you talking about sleeping soundly, and I'm like, God, I wake up and I start thinking about it, and
Yeah.
all this fear starts to move around me.
Does anyone else have had that when they wake up?
And it's like,
Yeah.
why? Like I'm not afraid to talk. I'm not.
Where's that fear concentrated in your body? If you could,
Oh, it's like right here.
yeah,
It's like my soul, like I feel
Yeah.
it, like in my heart.
so good. Yeah, awesome.
So, you know, I guess I'm here because I just want to hear more about like hacking that.
Awesome, so good.
How can I get rid of this enemy that's in my, because it's in my head.
Yeah.
Right? It's trying to stop me.
Can I give you a nugget?
Yes.
He or she's not going anywhere. It's awesome. So the reason why the bracelet says fearless, right, is because it's not going anywhere. The word isn't fear gone. It's not fear done. It's not fear without. It's fear less. So it's about constantly standing in the face of what it is that you fear. And it's so interesting because there's a famous, like, what does fear stand for? And there's that very famous false evidence appearing real.
Yes.
Now, what's the name of the guy who's doing the back?
Oh, David.
David.
Love him.
So I shared that with him, and he said, I have a new one for you, which is face everything and rise. Yes! Can we get a yes for that? Yes! So write that one down. Awesome. So how about you? What brings you to this conversation?
I have a tendency to get in my own way,
Mm.
and my work has taken me into platforms that I'm going to be public speaking, and the fear of being seen,
Mm.
because as a gay man, I put myself, let me step back, let me be part of the surroundings,
Mm.
in the front,
Awesome.
with fear of judgment.
Great. Thank you for that. Is there anything for you to share?
Sure. I'm fascinated by seeing people in their light, and I know that you carry the light quite well. So I'm just fascinated by being a witness to it.
Oh, thank you. Got it. Awesome. So this is great. So I feel like now there's a sense of relatedness of like where we are all in this conversation, and get that we're all in the same place. We are all masquerading and parading out around as human beings, pretending that we don't have that. And at the root of it all, at the root of the fear, is a limiting self-belief. Okay, so something happened. I was in second grade. I stood up in front of the class and I spoke. Now, I'm not present to the experience that anybody had. I'm present to my experience. Nobody said anything, right? And I created for myself in that moment, I'm not safe. And at the root of that is, I'm not good enough. And we all have something like that.
I'm not smart enough.
For you, it's I'm not smart enough. What is it for you?
I'm not good enough.
I'm not good enough. What about for you?
I'm not worthy.
I'm not worthy. Do you have one?
Yeah, mine is I'm not ready yet.
I'm not ready yet. Awesome. So get that we all have that. So the moment you stand up in front of an audience, in front of a group of people to speak, That's what's there for you. And guess where else you put that?
Out.
In your body and in the audience. That's clearly what everybody else is thinking.
No, they're not.
What are they thinking about?
Themselves.
Themselves! They're thinking, oh, I didn't have coffee this morning, or I'm really tired. Oh, wow, she's amazing. I'm really excited to hear her speak. Or, oh my God, I read her book and she's amazing. I've been waiting for 3 months to get this opportunity to actually meet her. Or he's so inspiring. I've done his workout classes and they've given me so much. But we don't go to that story. Right? What we play on is that negative self-belief, which is the root of the fear. Right? Now there's rational fear and there's irrational fear. So rational fear is I'm going to die. Right? Like the plane's down, I'm dying, or I'm drowning, or there's a lion that's chasing after me. We have a natural physical response, right? Which is rational fear to protect ourselves. Right? Now there is irrational fear, right? And it's all stimulated in the same place. It's in the amygdala, it's in the brain, right? And our body panics, right? Now, irrational fear, like the fear of public speaking, no one's going to die from this experience. And yet, the physical experience of it is the same. So what are some of the things that you experience when you're in front of people?
Fast.
Your heart rate goes up.
It's like,
What else?
Mouth drying.
The mouth gets dry. Lack of clarity, all of that. Great. The root of all of that is your limiting self-belief. And the first thing you forget to do when you're experiencing that is what?
Breathe.
Breathe.
yes.
So the first thing that there is to do, right, is to breathe. So what you do when you stand is you lock your knees.
Are your knees locked?
My knees are not locked, right? So the first thing that you do is you lock your knees. Now, in the Nam yoga class that I took, I found out that in your knees is where you hold your fear, which is also connected to your kidneys. And get that the first thing that we do when we stand is we lock our knees. Now, if anyone who's been in the military before, what they tell you is when you're standing at attention, that you don't lock your knees because you'll pass out. You're actually cutting your circulation. So I'm not talking about walking like a Marx brother. It's not doing that. But it's allowing yourself the space to unlock the knees so you're standing in a space so that you're grounded. Now, everyone locks their knees. Just know that's the first thing you do is you lock your knees. I always know that I'm locking my knees because I start rocking back and forth. So that's a great indicator for me to know I'm not grounded. All of a sudden I unlock my knees, and then all of a sudden my breath has somewhere to go. Okay? Now when you breathe, where do you imagine that you breathe to? The chest. Anyone else? In your nasal space? Awesome. Anywhere else? Where do you breathe? You breathe up here? Awesome. That's magical. Love that.
Down my core.
Down in your core. Awesome. So I want you all to stand, and I'm going to introduce you to a new body part. Okay? And it's right below your belly button. In some practice, it's called the lower dantian, but I call it the zorch. So say that with me. The zorch! Awesome. So the zorch is the life force. It's like when you get socked in the gut, it's like, ugh. Right? That's where it's at. And that's where you want to breathe to. So get that what happens is you lock your knees, you breathe to your chest, and you start hyperventilating.
Yeah.
Because you're a shallow breather. So in that space of panic, what you're doing is you're rapidly breathing, your body starts panicking, right? And you're like, I'm gonna pass out. And it's because you're breathing shallow and your knees are locked. So you unlock the knees. And what I want you to do is I want you to get an experience of inhaling into your zorch. Okay, so we're gonna blow out your air. And when we inhale, we're gonna inhale to the zorch and you're gonna exhale on a sh sound, an SH. Okay, so blow out your air. Inhale. Awesome. Now we're going to do the same thing on an S sound, okay? Inhale. We're going to do the same thing and exhale on an F sound, okay? So blow out your air. Inhale. Okay, so shh. Where do you feel that in your body? Shh. I want you to get a physical feeling of it. Where do you feel it? In the Zorch. Okay? So a wonderful tool for you to do before you speak, unlock your knees, inhale into the Zorch, and then shh, because it connects the sound to the breath. The moment you do that, your voice deepens, and your voice is connected to the core. Okay? The sh, the s, and the f become the gateway to your voice. It's like a channel. Okay? Awesome. The next thing, so we just talked about mind, right? We talked about breath, right? And now we're going to talk about something else which is called think, breathe, speak. So I say it as one word. Think, breathe, speak. Right? And what we're doing is we're connecting our breath to our thought. What does it mean to inspire someone? To make them feel like they can do something. What else does it mean to inspire? To make a change. To empower them. What else does it mean?
Share.
To share. If you look at the word inspire, the root is inspirare. Spirar means? Breathe. It's also spirit, breath. It's the same root. I just got goosebumps. It's connecting the breath to the thought. So to inspire, you have to breathe in. Just like to expire, you breathe out. What happens when we expire?
We stop breathing.
We stop breathing, but we're continuing to breathe and we're speaking. So we are expiring, we are exhaling as we are speaking. We enter this world with a breath. Wah! And then we cry, right? And we leave this world with a breath. It's all connected to breath. The pattern of life exists in breathing, inhaling, and exhaling. Communication happens in inhaling and exhaling. So what we're doing is we're connecting our breath to our thought. So what is the opposite of I'm not worthy? I'm not the one. I'm not ready. I'm not good enough. What's the reverse of that? All that positive. I am. I am. Right? So what you do, and this is what we call the pre-beat. So this is another trick. The pre-beat is the moment before you speak. What happens is we false start. It's like, ready, go! And then we start speaking. So we don't catch up with ourselves until like 2 or 3 minutes into it. Right? Now, if you have a moment to stand and look at the human beings in front of you, breathe them in, right? And connect to something powerful, something positive, right? What's a moment for you when you felt powerful?
When I went skydiving.
When you went skydiving, awesome. How about you?
When I felt powerful a couple weeks ago, I did public speak, and I did exactly that.
Awesome.
I stood in the energy for about 5-10 minutes.
Great. You just were present to it. Awesome. How about you?
When I told everybody to shut up at my wedding.
Great. You told them all, shut up at your wedding. I love it. How about for you?
The adults would be unruly.
I did my first comedy show, like full feature.
Amazing. Yeah, awesome. So connect to that as a thought. Like paint that for yourself in mind, an image, right? And let it be out there with the audience too, and breathe them in. And then from there speak. So you're not speaking from a place of panic or doubt or fear. You're speaking from your power. You're speaking from your gift. You're speaking from your joy. You're speaking from your light.
That makes
Right.
a lot of sense.
And that's all that's there. Right? So you're leading with that which is powerful. You're leading with that which is positive. Right? And you're leading with that which is authentic. Right? And I'm going to make another distinction, which is not speaking or not talking, but sharing. Because in the moment of sharing, it's an act of generosity. I'm giving. So in the giving of your truth, and the giving of what you have to share about forgiveness, and the giving that you have to share, in your comedy, it's gift. Like without generosity, if comedy falls flat, it's gross, right? And the gift that you have to give the people who are listening to you, right? Standing in that is generosity. In the generosity, the audience has nothing else to do but give back. And in that moment, you have the cycle of generosity. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And that's magical. Like there's nothing like it. So think, breathe, speak. The Zorch, really deepening your breath, unlocking your knees, shifting the context, right? So identifying what that limiting self-belief is. FDR has that famous quote, which is the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. And it goes on. And he says that nameless, and it continues after that, but the nameless to me is the important part because we don't name it. It's just what you wake up in the morning with. It's the same thing that I wake up in the morning with at 4:50. I like, right? And it's just like suffocating, right? It's awful. Now, you just have it as a feeling. But if you name it as fear, now we can do something with it.
Oh, there's my butterfly.
Isn't that magical? There it is. The moment we named that fear, there it went. Just like the butterfly. My fear is a butterfly. Right? All of a sudden you can use it in a different way. You can name it. You can appropriate. You can do something with it. As opposed to just let it be what I call the feeling is, "Ah." Like that's what my fear looks like. It's, "Ah." Right? But instead of that, I can name it. It's just fear of not being good enough. Fear of not being lovable. Fear of not being seen. Fear of not being enough. Fear of being a failure. None of which is authentic.
Fear of boring the Cordians to death.
Totally. Fear of boring them. Absolutely. And guess what? If you're creating from a space of fear of boredom, that's all that will be there. And the moment you shift it, your whole being shows up into something else. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you with my favorite thing on the planet. And it's a warm-up series. And it's called the Nell Warm-Up Series, which comes from the movie with Jodie Foster called Nell from the late 80s, early 90s. And it's a way to connect your body to your breath. Because the other thing that I didn't mention is when you speak, where do you imagine your voice exists? In the head, in your heart. Where did you say?
Outside.
It's outside of you. Your voice is not here. It's not here. It's not here. It's in the world. And we have an experience of speaking as being back here. So we warm up cold and then we're speaking back here, and this is where the conversation's happening. As opposed to the voice being present with you as generosity, as a gift. Right? It really is a gift. So what we're going to do is we're going to do my favorite warm-up in the world. It's called the Nell Warm-Up Series. And it's going to give us an opportunity to connect the body to the breath and then to the voice. Okay? So we're all going to stand up. And the first thing you're going to do is you're going to imagine that you're a tree in the wind. Okay? And it's the shh sound. And it looks like this. Shh. Shh. Okay, here we go. And shh. 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 Awesome. Then you're going to imagine that it's snowing popcorn. It doesn't make any sense. And we're isolating our rib cage as we're pulling little pellets of popcorn from the sky on a ch sound, like a TCH. And it looks like this. Ch, 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 ch. Awesome. Then you're going to hug yourself. And you go. Really warm up that spine. Then with an F, you're going to stretch from your back and reach out with your fingers. Now everyone blow out your lips. Now, Laura, you have lip tension. Yay! It's something to journal about. It doesn't mean anything. It just means that you have lip tension. So some people can't do that. It's just sometimes, people are tight-lipped, right? Right? It's just something to work on. So we'll practice on that later. But it's not, I don't want you to be like fully fetal about it. It's just like we all have different spaces where we carry our tension, right? So the lip is one of those places. So what we're going to do is we're going to shimmy roll down on a, and it looks like this. Okay, here we go. And because I'm Cuban, after we do that, we say azúcar.
Azúcar.
Great, awesome. So now we're going to put that all together. Okay, here we go. And. Azúcar!
Azúcar.
Awesome. Now we're going to add language. Okay? So this first thing, we're going to say tie in the wind. Say that with me. Tie in the wind. So it's like a tree in the wind. Tie in the wind. So we're going to put that together. And tie in the wind. Tie in the wind. Awesome. Then we're going to imagine it's snowing popcorn. And we're going to say popcorn, popcorn, popcorn as we reach up. 8 of those. Popcorn, 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 popcorn. Then you're going to hug yourself. You're going to say, Ne tata fonel. And J. And Chickapay. Azúcar.
Azúcar.
Awesome, great. So now we're going to do the whole thing together. If you F it up, who cares? It's a now warm-up series. We're not curing cancer. Okay? Here we go. And tie in the wind. Tie in the wind. Pakon, 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 pakon. Ne tata fonel. And J. And Chickapay. Azúcar. Azúcar. So now where's your voice?
Out there.
It's outside of you. We divorce ourselves from our body. The root of your power is your breath. Your body is the instrument. And the goal is to get it out. So quickly make an sound. Hands on your side, Laura. And we go ma. Ma. Awesome. So ma is like the tennis ball laser ricochet tool that you have to really just get it out there. So ma. Point it to the trees. Ma. Point it out there. Ma. Point it on the lake. Ma. Point it at each other. Ma. Point it at the camera. Ma. Awesome. So ma is a wonderful tool whenever you're in a room to get the sound coming back at you, to just get the feeling of how that room works. Okay? So, yeah. So thank you so much. Thank you for your courage. Thank you for your generosity. You are all powerful. You're all knowing. And you have so much to give and so much to share. The only thing stopping us is ourselves. So my request is you go to sleep every night and you say yes. And you wake up every morning and you say?
Yes.
Yes. Namaste. Thank you.